Hello, Carole Beu from the famous women's bookshop, always full of good reads. What have you got to recommend this week?
Well, A.M. Holmes' May We Be Forgiven. Now, this would have been on my list of faves and raves for 2012 if I'd read it sooner. I read it over the Christmas holidays and it is sensational. I absolutely loved it. It's extraordinary. It's an American family. And A.M. Holmes, I feel as though I've done her a disservice by not reading her earlier. And in fact, there's an earlier book of hers called This Book Will Save Your Life that I'm now going to read because May We Be Forgiven was so stunning. Starts on a Thanksgiving celebration, a family dinner, you know, the turkey around the table, and it is hideous. And it ends a year later at the same Thanksgiving dinner with very different people around the table, in the same table, same house. And a complete transformation has happened. But you feel as though you get thrown in head first, and it's chaotic and it's violent and it's full of sex and it's full of people getting ill, so there's quite a lot of vomiting and diarrhea in it, which you can take as all sorts of symbolism about what people think about American society. And out of this chaos, and you think, oh, you're sort of quite shocked in a way, but you're completely hooked in. Out of this chaos, gradually, through a series of bizarre and extraordinary happenings, this family reconstitutes and heals itself in the most extraordinary way. I just loved it. There's basically two brothers, two mature men. The younger brother, George, is a hugely wealthy television executive and has done everything right. The younger brother, who is his older brother, sorry, who is the main character in the novel really, Harry, he's a history professor and he has a particular fixation on Nixon. So he's writing the ultimate book on Nixon. He's a Nixon scholar and he lectures on Nixon. So there's a lot of interesting political commentary about Nixon coming through all the way. He ends up being the guardian of his brother's two children. I won't tell you what happens. I mean, there's a murder very early on in the first few pages of the novel, a family murder. He ends up looking after these two children and ends up taking in all sorts of other people. So the family who sit round the Thanksgiving dinner table at the end of the book are not necessarily related by blood, but they're a family in a completely different sense. And through all this chaos and violence and so on, you end up really being taken on a journey from horror through to redemption. And it's really uplifting and positive and has this wonderful ending, and I ended up smiling. I mean, I'm smiling at the end.
It sounds very right for the age that we live in, because there are so many blended families and so many families morphing in different directions and bringing in new people, and often very hard to cope with, all sorts of difficulties along the way.
David Hill wrote a wonderful review of it in which he said that in this novel the nuclear family is only nuclear in the sense that it has a meltdown, which is absolutely perfect way
and can explode at any moment.
It completely melts down. It does explode. It does explode.
Why A.M.? What's her real name?
I don't know. I don't even know what her real name is. She's A.M. Holmes, and she's always used A.M. Holmes.
And a big seller in America, presumably.
Yeah, and the book that made her really famous, I think, was This Book Will Save Your Life, which I am now going to read out of respect for her because this was so amazing. Maybe
I shall put her on my authors I must read list.
Absolutely. I really recommend her most highly.
Thank you so much, Carole Beu.